que se interesen en esto, ¿verdad? Qué hermosura. Ahorita ya van a empezar con la demostración, así que vamos a pasar rápidamente aquí, vamos a seguir con estas piezas. Qué hermosura.
Estas son de las que hago yo,
¿Estas son de las que qué?
De las que hago yo.
Esto de las que hace usted.
Sí.
Ah, y todo, como dijo usted, no tiene su... Está marcado, ¿verdad? Lo de usted.
Sí.
¿Qué precio tienen estas chicas hoy?
$15.
$15 en estas chicas.
Todas tienen su marca.
Sí, sí, qué bonitas.
Y su firma abajo.
Qué hermosura. Todo esto está de venta.
Sí.
Qué hermosura, ¿eh? Verdaderamente los felicitamos aquí desde su programa Cristo Arte. Y aquí, qué bonita esa tortuga. ¿Esa la hizo usted también? Esa tortuguita.
No, esta es de amigos de ahí mismo, de Matapis.
Ok.
Estela Silva de López.
Estela Silva de López fue la que hizo esto, de ahí de Matortiz, Chihuahua. Qué preciosura, qué va. Vamos a seguir viendo aquí rápidamente porque vamos a pasar al otro salón donde van a empezar ya ahorita a dar una demostración ahí de lo que ellos hacen. Qué hermosura, ¿eh? Fíjese, yo originalmente pensaba que todo esto era aquí de Arizona y no, es de Chihuahua,
trabajo es único.
Mata Ortiz.
Hecho a mano, no máquinas,
No máquinas, nada, eso es hecho a mano todo, ¿eh?
puro a mano.
Sí. ¿Nos dice su nombre otra vez?
Julio Mora,
Julio Mora, de Mata Ortiz,
de Matapis, Chihuahua.
Chihuahua, municipio
Casas Grandes.
de Casas Grandes, ¿eh? Miren nomás, qué hermosura, vale más que nos apresuremos para seguir aquí adelante, más adelante, para la demostración. Qué hermosura verdaderamente. Pues yo estoy muy contento, mire qué bonito, ¿eh? Yo estoy muy contento en esta tarde de estar aquí con ustedes, aquí en el Hilltop Gallery en Nogales, Arizona, este día 2 de noviembre de 2008, y estamos pues llevando a cabo esta pequeña filmación aquí de lo que están exponiendo estas gentes aquí que vienen exclusivamente desde Chihuahua. Aquí tenemos a varias gentes ya que se están juntando. Se están juntando la gente aquí para la demostración. Va a empezar la demostración. Con permisito.
I want to go ahead and take just a few minutes and introduce Lorenzo and Lucy Buganini. And they're the two potters that we bought from Matortis, along with Julio, who is also a potter from Matortis, who happens to be Lucy's brother. And they're going to give you a demonstration of the process.
Van a dar una demostración del proceso.
How this pottery comes to be. The only part of the process you're not going to get a chance to see is basically the processing, the milling, and so forth of the clay and the oxides that they do happen to use. But everything that they do is handmade, or they produce the materials to fabricate the pieces. They dig their own clay, they mill their own clay. In fact, Lorenzo started off with another potter years back doing all the milling for that particular potter. Now they do it as a team, and they've been doing. Lucy's been doing this for approximately 22 years. So I'm going to turn it over to them, and
Son unos expertos de 22 años en este asunto.
feel free to ask. And if you want to ask them questions in Spanish, they'll be able to answer the questions in Spanish, or if you want to ask the question in English, I'll translate. So feel free to ask it. But they're doing two steps right now. This is starting on the first part of the process, which is called a slab method. That's what we call it.
No creo que me voy a quedar para todo el proceso. Bueno, aquí estamos viendo todos los goodies que hay aquí en Hilltop Gallery. Wow.
Yummy, yummy.
Yummy, yummy, yummy for my tummy. Miren nomás, qué hermosa mesa. Qué preciosa mesa, ¿eh?
And there's no machinery involved in any of the process from beginning to end. Everything is done by hand.
En el proceso de hacer todo esto no es a maquinaria, sino que todo es hecho a mano. Y aquí están con
The
esto.
step that he's going on is right now, the clay happens to be what we consider bone dry or greenware. And he's sanding the tool marks, finger marks off that piece of pottery so that it can be burnished, which is putting a polish on the piece, and then they're going to go through the process of actually hand decorating the pieces. Every piece that's in there is also hand decorated. Freehand. And they don't start with any concept of the form or the shape or the colors or the patterns. Everything is basically done from just intuition. They don't put anything down on paper. Everything is whatever the impulse happens to be at the moment.
Es por puro impulso e intuición, dice, no escribe nada en papel, sino es pura inspiración de ellos. Y aquí nos están dando una demostración del proceso del trabajo que ellos hacen.
On the inside, what she's doing is she's strimming the inside by pushing the clay up against this plastic form. This is just a containment form to sort of hold the form until it turns up a little bit so that they can continue adding more clay to the top portion of it. And the piece will remain there for about 4 hours until that plaster draws some of the excess moisture. And once the excess moisture is gone, then the piece basically releases itself from that form, and then it's ready to be finished on the bottom half of the piece. Because you'll do the bottom half with the form, and then the top half by hand.
There's no air bubbles.
That's what she's doing right now. She's doing some compression with that. It's just a small. It's a lid and a sponge from some sort of container that's made out of plastic. And by pushing that surface, you'll pop any air that might be trapped inside
El
that clay.
público está haciendo preguntas y están contestando las preguntas del público.
And for those of you that are familiar with clay, she's using a clay body that is about the quality and consistency of porcelain. The only difference is it's not white. But their clay that they mine and they process and so forth has no filler, has no glog in it. There's no sand in it, and there's no glog in it. It's just pure clay. And most stonework clay, if you're familiar with stonework clay, has sand and glog in it. And glog is basically recycled, pre-fired granite pieces that have been crushed and put into the clay. Their clay has no filler, so the piece has to be really thin, really consistent as far as the thickness is concerned, so that it doesn't collapse under its own weight because of the fact that there's no filler in it. It's like when you make concrete, you need sand, you need gravel, you need the cement. That clay is just cement. It doesn't have all the other things in it. So it has to be.
Acuérdese que esta es una presentación de su programa Cristo Arte, Canal 95, Nogales,
What
Sonora.
she's using right now is a small segment of hacksaw
Y
blade.
estamos en el Hilltop Gallery
And she's
en
using that
Nogales,
to
Arizona.
draw the clay and to bring it into form and at the same time to thin it down. And she's using the coarse end of it to make sure that she can get that clay drawn up to that point. And anything that's left out at the top just needs to be removed, and then she can start doing a coil method on top of that.
Y estos artistas han venido desde Chihuahua.
And she's just using a bobby pin or a needle or anything else. None of the tools that they have are
Vienen desde
commercially
Chihuahua para
made.
hacer esta demostración
Including the brushes that you see her work with.
y lo que es también esta exhibición.
So everything is, you either make it or find it or sort of come up with your own tool process
Bueno,
to be
pues,
able to do this. And every family has a
En
different.
este día les agradezco mucho su atención para este programa Cristo Arte. Se despide su amigo y servidor
This comes basically
Jessica Camacho.
from